changed. Me and the team on the same thing. Stayed down, never switched up. Only thing changed was the game. I'm in the zone now. Nothing can change what we on now. When I pull up, know it's going down. Foot on the gas, ain't no slowing down.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Clydesdale Media Roundtable. There are three of us here.
Yeah.
You never know when the fourth just like pops in.
You know,
He's like an enigma.
it's true.
So what's going on?
Well,
You know,
we talked about the over-under on me getting a dog, right?
Yeah, we did.
what's
This is
happening?
Dash.
Oh my gosh.
Look at this magic. Wait, sorry. It's called. So I follow this girl on TikTok. Her name is Amber, but her thing is disappointing middle child on TikTok, and she's trying to open up a rescue sanctuary. She lives in Canada, and she does this as a fundraiser. She makes these things called homely huggables.
Yeah.
And if you give her a picture, she will make not an exact likeness, obviously,
Sure.
but like a caricature of whatever it is you want, like an animal or whatnot. And this is the last one that she did because she's taking a little break.
Oh.
But this is Dash. Look, she got like the freckles on his ear and everything. And so I love him so much.
So the funniest thing was that Amy, when you said this is Dash, you actually had this look on her face like, did she kill him?
No, I was like, did you?
I mean,
it was hard to distinguish if I was looking at something like taxidermy type thing.
Right.
That's what I was like.
I tell you what, I considered it for sure. It was not out of the realm of possibilities, but this was like a close second. So yeah, this is Dash. Isn't he cute?
Yes.
I actually saw your TikTok. So when
Oh,
Amy's
yeah.
eyes like popped open, I was dying inside.
You knew what you were looking at.
But I knew what you were holding. So
I'm literally, it's also, I feel like my screen is small. I'm like, I literally cannot decipher what I'm looking at. Right now.
He's so cute. All right, I'll put him back on my chair. But yes, that's Dash.
So it is a replica
Yes,
character of Dash.
Stuffy. It's a stuffy.
it's a stuffy. Yep, a stuffy of Dash. Man-made.
Yeah.
That's worth the whole show right there, seeing Amy's reaction to that off the top. I can go about the rest of my day a happy man.
Clip that.
Yeah.
It is like yesterday our friend was telling us he has woodpecker problems, which I am having as well.
Mhm.
And he bought a fake barn owl to put on the front of his house to scare the woodpecker away, because he read that on the internet that works.
Mhm.
And then he sent us a video of the barn owl and the woodpecker pecking his face off.
So it's not
even
Working like a charm.
Oh, yeah. But at least he's pecking the owl and not the actual house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the column on my front porch it looks terrible. I mean, they're like destroying it.
Speaking of TikTok, I saw this whole TikTok thing where some contractor came into somebody's house because they were hearing noise like between their walls. And it was like 300 pounds of acorns from a woodpecker pecking and stuffing it inside the house.
Really?
Yes. Like it looked like it was bugs coming up in at first, like when he made the hole, and then it was like all of these
All
acorns.
poured out.
Yeah.
Aw. I didn't know woodpeckers did that.
It's crazy.
Well, and Amy knows that this is true, but my wife is convinced that I am the crazy old man on the street now.
Oh yeah. I was going to ask you to bring that up because I think that's a good conversation.
Because every time the woodpecker pecks, I run out the front door and I'm like, get out of here.
That's what I do too when the woodpecker pecks.
She's like, all of our neighbors think you're the crazy old man that just shouts at the clouds.
Well, he said he was really leaning into the grumpy old man, and I told him he was nailing it.
Yeah. That's my new MO.
Yep. If kids get on your lawn, you're going to yell at them to say, get off my lawn.
Exactly.
Well, I feel sad
It
for your
does
neighbor.
bother me. We have kids that like run through our backyard,
Yeah.
playing guns and whatever. And there is something about it that just bugs me.
Let it go,
Grumpy old
bro.
man.
You got more important shit to do.
It's not like I run out and yell at them, but
You're one step away from it, is what I'm saying.
Like I have to fight the urge.
Then they're going to be like, watch out for old man Schweitzer's house over there.
Yep. And then, of course, my wife is like the nicest person who talks to everybody in the neighborhood. And so they're all like, what's she doing with him?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. What's happening?
Oh, I don't like that camera. Never mind.
I was like, what's happening? What are we doing?
I got 2 cameras going. I got the one. Yeah, we'll do this one. Okay. We're
Okay.
back.
Wow.
I just felt really small.
Hmm.
Let me move this a little bit.
So, I know that
There we
Amy
go.
didn't see a lot of Rogue this week, but and I know Kat watched some. So I just wanted to get it's over. We had it in Scotland, overseas for the first time. Just overall impressions that you had with Rogue.
I love the events. I thought they were great. Super fun to watch. The coverage was pretty decent. I paid the $25 and did not get to use the $25 features all weekend because I didn't know how to get to them. And I haven't tried it yet. I assume I can go back and look at stuff now that it's over. So I'll have to check that out if I have some time. But I thought it was good. I thought the Laura Horvath, Christoph Horvath,
What's
that whole beef with Gabby, just, I don't know. Like,
Fill me
I
in.
can't decide if I like it or hate it.
Fill me in on the beef.
I mean,
Well,
I just feel like
I
there's
don't know if there are any details, but
yeah.
so
I mean,
so when the tragedy happened at the games,
Got it.
Laura withdrew.
Yeah.
Christoph's team withdrew.
Correct.
They left Dodge.
Yeah.
Gabby decided to stay.
Correct.
So Gabby and Christoph were a couple.
Okay.
Laura and Gabby were training partners and what by all accounts best friends.
Okay.
They left. She stayed ever since no comunicado.
Okay.
right. We presume, right? Like we're making up this story, but based on all accounts of what we've observed, that it's true.
Absolutely no interaction on the
Right.
floor at Rogue.
Okay.
In an interview with Patrick Clark on Be Friendly Fitness, Gabby said, since the game, she found a new person. And that new person is a badass. And it's a new discovery that she is still getting to know that person. And she's really excited to get to know her. And that is herself, just a new version of herself.
Yeah.
Which all of this data kind of leads to
There's a beef.
she's out on her
There's
own now.
tension.
She's doing her own thing.
Yeah.
And she discovered a whole new Gabby.
Mm.
And before she got injured at Rogue, she looked like a whole new Gabby. She looked amazing as an athlete,
Yeah.
like just crushing it.
It was the Gabby Laura Tia show, up until that last day, for sure. Yeah, I was really excited for her. And then it just, I don't know, like Laura's wearing like a pearl necklace, like while she's competing, and yeah, it's kind of weird, like a pearl choker.
That's weird. That's really weird.
And she and Christoph, their Instagrams are like, just their captions are odd.
Yeah, she's been doing like a lot of like journaling, it looks like, and then posting her journal thoughts.
I don't know.
Well, and her interviews got a lot of press too, because like people asked her about Kiki asked her about her climbing experience and helping her with the pegboard. And she's like, I'm tired of you guys asking me about that. And like it was,
yeah, she
it's hard
was,
to describe it. She was very blunt in all these post interviews. But I think that's also a character that has become Laura, and maybe just like my grumpy old man character, she's leaning into that as well.
right. Like the Colton Mertens, talking shit thing. Maybe it's, I'm okay with it, I guess. It's just, it was surprising to me. I wasn't expecting
I'm okay with it, like talking smack. I lose a bit of support for it when it's attacking the person interviewing you, just doing a job.
Right.
Yeah.
But I would agree. I liked most of the events. I did not like the final event. Grace with sandbags did not interest me at all.
Mm.
And I thought it would, but when I watched it play out, it kind of fell blah.
That was the sandbag clean sprint, right? Ladder.
Yeah, it was great. It was 30 clean and jerks.
Who did all the programming?
I missed that one.
Well, it wasn't a jerk. It was cleans. But you had to stop and put the arm out.
Yeah. And then move forward with a heavier bag.
The programming was Spieler, Bridges, and Katie.
Okay. And can we talk about what happened with James Sprague flipping off the crowd or something?
I think that was a rumor.
Okay.
I think he was interviewed about it and said that did not happen.
Okay. That's why I was curious.
Yeah, I felt bad for James just because, coming off of his win at the games and sort of having something to prove, because people saying that, it wasn't really a true test and he's a one-hit wonder kind of a thing. And then he gets pneumonia. So it's like he can't really, he had pneumonia a week ago or, a week before the competition. So we didn't really have any people that didn't know that had very high expectations of him and were probably talking shit. Like, why is he, second half of the pack?
Did anybody's performance surprise you, like that they didn't perform as well as you would have expected?
Pat Vellner, but I heard that he wasn't feeling very well, that he was sick.
Justin Medeiros.
How about Phoenix?
Who actually won an event.
Yeah.
But did not do well in the overall competition.
He clearly did not showcase his top end strength. He did not.
Vindication after all these years.
Right.
I was pleasantly surprised with Danny Spiegel. If it wasn't for a penalty in the duel, I think she would have had a top 5 performance.
How about Sydney Wells? I feel like
that damn muscle up. My gosh.
I know, but I still feel like she did better than I expected. For her rookie year at Rogue, I thought she did pretty great.
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating when it's just like Laura. She bombed the handstand push-up.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's
bombed the muscle up. Like, it's just.
I remember when Brooke bombed muscle ups.
Mm-hmm.
2016 regionals.
You're like, come on, like, at least.
Yeah, but Sydney's issue was more around the wood, the log.
Oh no, she took last place in the one with the ring.
Oh, and the ring muscle ups too. Okay. I clearly wasn't paying attention to that.
A lot of people struggled with and Jason Hopper for 3 years in a row has struggled with the log muscle up, and again this year, and he finished his third. What would his finish have been if he would have?
Right, if he had mastered that by now.
Yeah, I saw the women's podium, but I know Adler won, but I didn't see second and third. Hopper third.
Second.
Who was second?
Brent Fikowski, and then Jason Hopper. And Dallin Pepper was up there too, right? Was he fourth or fifth?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because a week after it, like, I enjoyed watching it. I had a good time watching it, but thinking back, I don't have like a lot of distinct memories from it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, like I've said this a million times. Guy just looked majestic. Like he is so athletic. Really well. When he's in his home run event, he looks so good. All
right, guys, I have to go. It was good to see you.
See you.
Bye.
But other than that, like, not a lot of not a lot of memorable things. But I thought it was a good competition. I see Jenny's in the chat. She brought up the fact that Laura, in one of her post-event interviews, dogged the American crowds at American events because of what happened. But, you and I were at that first Rogue event.
Yeah.
It was packed and it was loud.
Yeah.
And she pointed that out in a post she made, that done in the right way, it can be done that way here too. It was a much smaller venue, and yes, it was full, and yes, it was loud. But I think CrossFit, one of their biggest mistakes here in the States is they don't go to the smaller venue. They try to go to these bigger venues, and then they're half full. when I think they should look for some smaller venues while we're trying to grow the sport so that it appears bigger. Better to have a sellout at a smaller venue than a half full crowd at a bigger venue.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
But one thing I wanted to get your opinion on is you've been with me when we've interviewed Brent on the show.
Yeah.
This was his last competitive event as he's retiring to focus on the PFAA.
Yep.
We'll get into the PFAA in a second. I've talked about my experience with Brent and him retiring and how I felt about interviewing him and how cool he was to us. I want to get your impressions of Brent as this is his last event.
How I feel about him retiring or just about him in general?
All of it.
I love him. I mean, I always have. I think he is he's one of the most consistent athletes. Like driven clearly. I mean, you have to have a certain amount of drive to be able to compete at that high level for this amount of time. There's been times, when I've watched him where I'm like, I wish he would just go by feel and be a little bit less analytical, because I think that there's times when I'm like, I think he could go harder or, but that's just being a couch watcher versus, being there necessarily and knowing him personally that way. But I mean, I think he's done a lot for CrossFit, and I'll miss watching him because I always look forward to it. And I mean, to be at that high level, to be that high on the leaderboard for so many years, I think it's impressive. And, I know people will comment, well, but he's never won. But how many second and third places has he had, or top 10,
6 top 4s.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's not for nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
And I commented that, when we interview him, our discussions with him are longer after the recording goes off than when they're on.
Yeah.
And he very much giving of his time and mentoring and
very much
helping us with whatever we needed. And I will always appreciate that with him.
Absolutely. Yeah. I've always enjoyed talking with him. And just to kind of see how his brain works too, I think is fascinating. And, so I'm excited to see what will happen next, because I think he's going to still be a big player and contributor into the sport. For sure. I think he's also very humble, a very humble athlete for doing so well.
The last thing I want to say is on one of the times where we interviewed him, we finished the interview and he started talking to us. And at that time he was doing laps in his garage gym while talking to us. We talked for over an hour.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many steps he got, but he did laps around his garage gym.
Yep.
An entire hour plus. We talked to him afterwards, which was insane. But that was just a fun story. Back to the Rogue thing. Jenny says, Rogue only had about 5,000 seats. They built that out. It was perfect. And indoor makes it far more spectator friendly. Yeah. Yeah. So I want to go from Brent, the athlete, to Brent, the PFAA. And he actually posted this video today.
Okay.
As the PFAA has been putting out some stuff to maybe try to clear up some stuff.
Okay.
But today they are actually voting. And I'm going to go ahead and play this so you can hear it.
Really looking forward to seeing the results of this election. Very exciting time right now. The PFAA is voting in the new board of directors. So this is a reminder video. Check your email. If you are an eligible athlete for the PFAA, a voting member, check those emails. Go in there right now. You don't have much time. Open up that phone and vote. Only takes a second. You can do it on your phone. Active competing athletes at the highest level of this sport, voting in a board of directors, their peers, to represent them, to set the vision for the PFAA. And then the executive committee, including myself, are going to work really hard to execute on that mission. Really looking forward to seeing the results of this election.
So that came out this morning. yesterday, I'm going to try to get to that. They posted this because we've been asking this question for the last few months. How is our athlete board elected? And this, okay. So it starts with eligible voting members are identified, meaning who is in the PFAA, who are the eligible voting members, they're identified. Then they are sent an invite to join the PFAA. After that, the voting members must accept the invitation in writing. After that, the voting members elect the board of directors, the athlete board. Then the athlete board makes the decisions to advance the PFAA's mission and goals. So that athlete decides what their priorities are, and they make a list. Then once the athlete board does that, they select an executive committee to run the day-to-day operations of the PFAA. The executive committee executes and facilitates communication back to voting members. I don't know about you, but that just seems really like a lot. And my questions, I have a lot of questions in this. Once you identify who the voting members are and you send out an invitation, how many get lost from the invite to the acceptance section? Because I work for a state government. I know all about red tape. I know all about like long lists of things to do to get eligible. You work for an educational facility that has to go through all of your steps to stay licensed and meet all the requirements, right? All that red tape. Whenever there's a ton of red tape, you've got to be losing people along the way.
So your focus on this is, if I'm hearing you correctly, is that seems like so many steps that you must be losing interest, people.
You must be losing possible voting members, because I do remember in some of their interviews, they said of the, and I'm just throwing a number, I don't know the exact numbers. So like of the 100 eligible to vote, 60 voted.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So is that because they got lost in the invitation process, or because they chose not to participate? Like that's what it would be very interesting to me.
Sure. But I think one of the things you've been asking, though, what you're getting, is more transparency or about how decisions are made.
Yeah, it's very vague, but sure. But it also shows, I think, that the executive committee are the ones doing all of the decision making, all of the meetings, all of the stuff at the end. It's almost like a presidential election where we vote for a delegate. The delegates then register their votes. Then we get president, House of Representatives, Senate, and they're the ones that kind of make all the decisions. Like it doesn't come back to us, the citizens, for a vote again. Right? They just make the decisions and move forward.
Mm-hmm.
Where this is, you have members, they vote on a committee, on an athlete board. That athlete board then selects an executive committee. That executive committee then runs the show.
Yeah.
Based on a platform that the athlete board sets up.
But that it makes sense to me, though. Otherwise, that's a lot of individual decision making and a lot of, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think maybe I'm just a control freak, and this method is giving all the control to other people. And I really don't think it says that eligible members, but we don't have a definition of who that is. We know now through a lot of questions that it is not team athletes. It is not It is not semifinal athletes. It is just athletes who make the games on the individual side.
But we still don't know, though, how much power PFAA has in, like, sure, that we have this organization, but how much power do they have?
I think I think all of the stuff I'm saying is why they don't have a lot of power. Because we don't know who they are and who they represent. Right? They say we represent all the athletes. Well, they don't. They only have eligible members that are individual athletes at the highest level is their term. We know teams aren't represented, yet they go through the same safety, competitive issues that the individual athletes go through. We know masters and teens go through the same stuff. We know that semifinal athletes trying to get to that next level suffer from all that stuff, but they're not part of a voting member to give their say.
Well,
in any fashion.
Well, I think we got to sit back and let this build. Let it grow. See what happens.
I'm hoping with Brent retiring that we get more information with a little more detail as to who they represent.
Yeah.
And again, I've said this over and over again. I want athletes to have representation and to have a say in things. But when it's come about in this way that's so vague and such a small partition of the main group, I don't know how much say they're really going to have.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Yeah. And I'm just looking at it saying, I think it needs time. So, curious to watch it.
Yeah. And then again, we need somebody because right now, CrossFit's not saying anything. And if you haven't seen the meme that Peter from Coffee Pods and Wads put out, it's basically drunk history. Like the guy on TikTok that's the drunk guy picking fruit containers, right?
Yeah.
It's him going the decision making of CrossFit. Well, we don't have we have the results of the third party investigation, but let's hold off on releasing that till after.
Yeah.
They get to Thanksgiving and eat the turkey and they're not so sad. Right.
Yeah.
I feel like that's really what's happening at CrossFit HQ. It's like some drunk guy just making silly decisions and we don't have anything there because we do have a final ME report that did say that the cause of death was drowning and it was accidental.
Okay.
But we don't have the third party investigation. And then CrossFit made all these promises, but haven't said a word.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, it's been over 3 months, right?
Yeah.
August, September, October, November. Yeah, it has just been over 90 days.
Yeah. And all the while, none of us get to plan for next season because we have no idea what's happening.
Yeah.
Nobody can make plans. Nobody can make travel arrangements. Nobody can do anything because they don't even know where the games are going to be next year.
No.
And the rumors are that even HQ doesn't know.
Right.
And in the Peter drunk history one, he's like, well, we don't want to go back to Texas. Anywhere but Texas.
Yeah. Shoot.
Oh. And I know that is parody and not true, but it almost seems a bit real as well.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
So, it's going to be a mess. And it feels like we're at the end of a season now that Rogue is done.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree.
And now we're waiting on what is to come. Mm-hmm. And what is the avalanche going to be of information? Is Will Morad's thing going to be able to take off? Is somebody else going to be able to step in? Are what the hell's going to happen?
Yeah.
And you have all these athletes around with like the teens and the masters and the teams that are like playing second fiddle to wait. What are the elite individuals going to do? And can we even be a part of the season?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy.
It is. I was thinking about that the other day. Like, remember when they leaked that it was leaked that the investigation was coming out soon? And that was like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think over a month ago.
Okay.
October 7th was the leak date.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. So we're not there yet.
Yeah. The last thing I was gonna ask is, and I was hoping Charlie be on, but speaking of crazy, this weekend we have the big Netflix extravaganza.
Oh boy.
With Mike Tyson versus.
Oh yeah, it's
Jake
finally
Paul.
happening. Yeah.
Is your family gonna watch?
Probably not.
No.
Probably not. But I can't guarantee that, but I'm just guessing now.
When I was a kid, I watched every Mike Tyson fight. Like
I think we'll enjoy the clips on TikTok after.
And then a couple years ago, he fought Roy Jones Jr. and I watched that, and it was a utter disappointment. Like it really looked like two old guys trying to fight.
Is this Friday or Saturday? You said Saturday?
I think it's Saturday. But it's a mega payout, and they actually have it sanctioned. It's a real, it'll go on their records for pro boxing. It's going to be legit. I don't know if the fight will be any good. Corey says Jake Paul better have his affairs in order. So I was looking at a critic today who looked at their warm up stuff, their training stuff.
Yeah.
And basically Jake Paul has no technical expertise. He just uses his size and power.
Yeah.
And Mike Tyson is like a technician, but he is
older,
probably not as strong anymore. And so it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
Well, I'm curious who has more brain cells.
Not a clue.
Yeah. Right. Neither of them have the clue either.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'll probably tune in just for nostalgia's sake.
Yeah.
And then the last thing for you is I finished Suits this week.
Oh, I'm behind. Okay. Did you like the resolution, or did you like how it ended?
Suits?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I
actually like the last 2 seasons better than 6 and 7, maybe.
Okay.
Because there's some character changes in the last 2 seasons. Katherine Heigl becomes a part of the show. Some of the associates get promoted, so they become bigger roles. I actually like the last 2 seasons because the stories change because it's new characters. It got a little repetitive, in season 6 and 7.
Yeah, they're same thing. Yeah, just
where 8 and 9, it gets to be a little fresh.
And I haven't watched Tulsa King, but I know you guys have been watching it, right?
Yeah, there's only 1 episode left of this season.
Okay.
And
how many seasons are there?
2.
Okay.
But Julie and I have been watching that live for 2 years, as they come out.
Yeah.
And I know you're watching the Yellowstone finale. Is whatever the last 5
season just started. Yeah.
But it's the final chapter, right?
Yeah.
Where Julie and I got up through season 4, and then we've been waiting for this to conclude so we can watch all of season 5 as one big.
Yeah. I like to go back and forth with that. There's shows that I like to be able to watch live, like that. And then shows where I like to be able to binge and watch a bunch of episodes too. So I like the balance of it,
What I hate about the Yellowstone thing, that the waiting, and I don't have Paramount Network anyway, so like I can't watch it live. Is that there are so many spoilers out on the internet.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
like I know a big spoiler from the first episode.
Well, that was obvious because we knew
Right.
that the show wasn't going to be back.
Well, that happened to me with Suits because they just started a podcast.
Oh, okay.
I was reading about like this podcast they were doing, and it's the Mike character and the Donna character
Yeah.
going through each episode talking
Okay.
about like the filming of it and everything. And somewhere in that they talked about the final episode. And I was like, son of a gun, I made it through like 8 of the 9 seasons
Without any
and I get
spoilers.
this stupid spoiler.
It's funny.
But I kept it from Julie.
Oh, good. That was good. That was a good husband for you.
Yeah. So yeah. So now we're looking for, like, that was our show when nothing else was on.
Yeah.
Go on and
Yeah.
let it play. Now we don't have one of those. So we got to find another one.
Yeah.
Have you watched Lioness? So it's another Taylor Sheridan.
Oh, okay. He's got a lot.
Yeah, he has a new Billy Bob Thornton one coming out.
And then there's the one with Harrison Ford in it, 1923.
Oh yeah.
Not the 18 something, but the 1920.
Yeah, the 18 something is Faith Hill and Tim McGraw.
Yeah, Tim McGraw. It's like, wait, what? They're like, it's the prequel. I'm like, there was already one. I'm confused.
Now, the Harrison Ford show I am watching is Shrinking.
Oh, okay. Is there another season of that up?
Yeah, season 2 just started like 4 weeks ago.
Okay. 'Cause I liked that.
Season 2's better.
Okay, good. Jason Segel is pretty funny in it too.
Yeah. Harrison Ford is like
Seagal?
just cracking me up.
What did I say, Segel?
Segel.
I know, but I was like, what? I was thinking, why is it?
The thing about Jason Segel is he is Jason Segel in everything he does.
Yes,
When he was
yeah,
Marshall on How I Met Your Mother,
yeah,
all of that stuff.
yeah.
Searching for Sarah Marshall,
Forgetting.
forgetting Sarah Marshall. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
But there's a line. I'm just one line. It's not a spoiler. Harrison Ford is talking to his ex-wife, and he's admitting to her that he was a coward when they were together.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I wouldn't say coward. And he said, what would you say? And she said, I would say, itty bitty chicken shit. And I just lost it. Like,
Yeah.
Julie and I were laughing so hard we had to rewind it because we missed like the next few jokes.
Yeah.
It was good. If you Shrinking is one of my top shows.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll start that then because I'm glad.
Yeah, it's a feel good for a show about a guy who lost his wife in a car accident.
Yeah.
And that's the first scene of the first episode, but
Yeah.
It's pretty funny and leaves you happy usually at the end.
Yeah.
And Roy Kent's in it this season,
Oh yeah. Roy Kent.
if you are a Ted Lasso fan.
Yes. Who isn't? You should be if you're not.
So, well, with that, I think we've talked about all the crazy stuff in the world.
All the things.
And if you have any comments about anything we've said, usually when we say anything about the PFAA, I get tons of comments. Just like Murph not liking me talking about the PFAA, he is very adamant about what I say and very
And
disagreed.
anybody that goes by our house.
Yeah, that's Walter too.
Yeah.
That's what puts me in the grumpy old man mood. All right. With that, we will let you go. Have a great day, everybody. And we'll see everybody next time on Clydesdale Media Roundtable. Peace.